There it
it's much
is.
more difficult. Invoker, okay.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
it.
AoE disable that we were talking about. Like, you need something to be able to punish this Dark Willow. She's basically a glass cannon from the support position. I mean, she can solo kill an Invoker if he doesn't have like Tornado or something, right? So it is not like a perfect scenario, but you at least now have, you know, a lot of options for trying to deal with this hero. But picking an Invoker right here, you are going to get the lane matchup if you want it.
And this is just, they're sort of realizing at this point, they know they don't have last pick. They're just going to try and greed out, get the Invoker. It plays very well into Beastmaster, especially if anything, Invoker is one of the best punishment heroes where you're going to be playing in these side lanes. And they pick it into the Invoker. Interesting.
You just go to the Sleight of Fist build is the idea, right? You just ignore it.
Exactly.
This is the hero I wanted them to pick last game. I feel like last game was like your best chance was going to be on this Ember Spirit. I know Aurelia plays it, and they go for the Queen of Pain instead. And I think this game they're going to give that a shot here. Like you said, into the Invoker, not ideal, but you just max the Sleight of Fist, especially when you have the Keeper of the Light on your team. The synergy there is amazing. So you will have a lot of damage coming out from the Ember Spirit here in the mid game.
When it takes out a lot of heroes that KJ otherwise would have wanted to play because they're really doubling down on that physical damage. And okay,
that's a
best
big
of one
pick.
strats here. Yeah, Medusa. They don't want to lose. They want to take this late, and it's one of the safest heroes in Dota. You're just gonna lock your DM up. You're gonna defend your towers for a year, and that's something that PentAce they really don't have. They need to kind of shore up their draft with a big pusher in the safe lane. As it's really just Beastmaster, and Beastmaster's great alone, but Medusa, it's one of the heroes we haven't been seeing it picked up too recently, but before in the group stage, it was pretty much every day we were seeing at least one or two Medusas because it's just that safe hero. And again, it's a Costa Bile comfort hero. He loves his big farmers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you are the side of PentAce, what core matchups do you still have there in the game? I mean, they banned the Lycan. That's a great one. PL's already banned. You could opt to go for like an anti-mage if you wanted, against Invoker as well as the Medusa. It's really not that bad, but you have last pick here on PentAce.
Oh, and it is anti-mage though. That hero is like unheard of at this point, and we might see and that's the issue with this PL ban that they've almost baited out. And seeing the offlaner already picked up in the first phase, SG have really been able to focus down every single, like I see almost 6 or 7 safe laners banned here. And I'm struggling to figure out what Fear would want to play. We could see him try to run the Jug, but again, you're playing it into Tusk. You're playing it in a very risky matchup where you can very easily get punished in these side lanes. And I'm trying to figure out what Fear would want to play, and it's very difficult. Yeah, SG's bans are just right on the money.
Yeah, the Ursa's good. I mean, you could go for like a I was okay. There's the Tidehunter ban. I was like, the only thing that I've seen have minor success has been like the Monkey King, going for like an early diffusal into like Aghanim Scepter, and then just like relying on Wukong's command to just like burn through all of the mana. But it's so risky because you don't have like any ability to fight until you have like those 2 items plus like a BKB.
5 seconds.
Now, do we see the CK? They've got to pick something here for either Tavo or KJ.
The Nature's Prophet. Wow.
Okay.
Very greedy pick here, I think. But
it's an incredibly greedy lineup. They're gonna struggle if they get fall behind in these lanes. This is something the Beastmaster is just gonna be able to sort of run you over, but at the same time, we have another very timing-based hero where you get the Orchid, you're able to play sort of counter fluid to the Beastmaster where you're constantly setting up pickups for this Invoker. It's very easy rotations for SG Esports, and that's why in pretty much the entirety of Dota, we see Nature's Prophet highly valued because those rotations, you just suddenly have 4 heroes on the map, someplace where PentAce aren't expecting, and you don't really have a strong backline. At the same time, you don't have a strong frontline either. If they're able to kill these minions with the Medusa, PentAce are feeling kind of frail in their lineup.
Yeah, they need a hero that can get on top of this Nature's Prophet and really punish him. I don't think it's Jug is the thing, right? Like, he just gets bodied by the Nature's Prophet. PA. That is a hero that does it.
And you are picking it Moo on the Keeper. And it is a sort of fearsome lane. Tavo will need to be very careful, but again, you really don't hold a candle to him. At the same time, it's all going to be up to Ryoya in this early game. He's really the only playmaker they have for the first 10 minutes of the game, whereas SG Esports, everything's just going to be a counter. It's always going to be a rebuttal. You can always TP 40R, and you're going to lose your mid tower if you start ganking a little bit too much on Ryoya. At the same time, you have this Tusk. If he ever decides to rotate mid, you're a melee hero versus Tusk. You're going to get shards blocked off of, and then it's all up to Z-Freak to sort of save you in those situations. And I'm leaning towards SG. I like the PA. PA is one of the few heroes that can actually not even out damage, but burn through that mana shield more so than any other hero in the game. But we talked about it in the first game where you need Battle Fury, you need Deso, you need BKB, you need so many items to really feel like a threat. And if SG Esports are able to outpace them, it's going to be really difficult for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I think the Coddle synergy here with a lot of these heroes is going to be pretty good, and they have a lot of great wave clear here from the Coddle. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to Moo just making sure that they don't lose any objectives here to this Death Prophet, Nature's Prophet, combo. And if they're able to do that and wait until they get like a couple big items on Ember and PA, they might be able to take the fights in their favor. But that's I guess like kind of your only play here at this point, right? Like I don't know how else you stop them.
When it's just now that you have this Tava, you have this Nature's Prophet, Snake King is going to feel the pressure. He might have to play a little bit differently as it's just two heroes. It's going to be Cold Snap because you don't get BKB very early, especially on the Beastmaster. You just pump all your gold into that Necro Book. It's going to be one TP, one Orchid, one rotation from the Invoker. And that's when we're going to see PentAce stepping on their toes a little bit in the farm department, where I don't think we're going to see them really group up as early as they might have wanted to, as they're not really a push lineup. They're very kill you, try to get as many pickoffs, snowball the game, and that's the power of this Ember Spirit. But again, if anything goes wrong, I think PentAce, it's almost a glass cannon draft where they need to be very careful. They're not as stable as SG.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. They get the smoke immediately here on SG Esports mid lane. Snake King and Z-Freak in this off lane. Oh, they're actually going to go ahead and... A minute. Nature's Prophet and the Medusa in the same lane right now.
And they might be scouting out. I'm assuming they're not going to do that, but...
No, they're definitely not. They're just, like, one of them is going to leave for sure. The question is, just who. They are smoking very deep into the Radiant jungle here. They do see Fear with this ward, but he's not really the target you want to go on because you can always just go Phantom Strike 1. They're going to look behind the tower, though. Around the creep wave, maybe?
One versus some teams that have been picking Medusa, and we do see the PA pretty common versus the Medusa. We have seen teams decide to tri-lane the Medusa. At this rate, though, I don't think... This is an interesting play top. Maybe they're trying to bait out. They're placing some very deep vision. Perhaps they think that that's what's happening to them on SG Esports, so they're very afraid. They want this Medusa to have a pretty free lane, and they want it versus the Boars, but... At the same time, Fear, he can't go with a very bad lane. He's getting the Battle Fury. He's already got it queued up. But if he has too late of a timing, again, we saw how effective the kills that SG were able to get. They delayed so many timings on PentAce. And now that you're in this best of one, again, you don't want to start off bad. And it looks like they're actually going to try to tri-lane into Fear.
They might, yeah, they might for sure. I think it's one of those things where they could eventually just TP out one of these heroes. Nature's Prophet being in the safe lane is interesting, though, because he is very rarely going to be under threat at all. He can just kind of chill there, no big deal at all. And, like, Beastmaster is not going to be able to get on top of him. Z-Freak Dark Willow can, like, harass him slightly with Shadow Realm. But once you have teleportation at level 2, you just go to base and come back, right? Like, you cannot actually push him out of lane very easily.
If anything, Fear is going to be the one in the hot seat. As while you are playing a tri-lane into Moo, they need to be very careful about the blast. Moo is one of the most efficient heroes at trading well versus multiple heroes, but at the same time, Tavo, this isn't a very nice lane for Snake King. This is one of the most annoying lanes for Beastmaster in that position, and once Tavo gets a few more levels in trees, the trees just run at the Boars, and the Boars can't really handle 3 trees hitting them at any point in the game, and again, it feels like he's going to have a very free time on Nature's Prophet, and that's when your Ember Spirit has to be a little bit worried. It feels like SG, this is a good lane rotation for them. Oh, Moo.
Yeah, they're just doing what they can to trade. I mean, Delacor's took a lot of tower shots there despite the creep wave. Ooh. Okay, never mind. I thought he salved for a moment, but he didn't.
And the issue being with Mu, you can't really ever post up to try and stop these pulls, so Costa Bile will be able to get a lot going for him. And at the same time, whenever Mu is trying to get damage onto these heroes, he's going to be nuking the creeps.
Oh my gosh. KJ took the Thunderclap and a full Illuminate. That is just so much damage. Roya's doing really well in the mid lane.
Yeah, Ryoya is kind of owning, and it's up to that bottle where we're really going to see rotations, and that's when this bottom lane might make it or break it for SG, where you're going to have a very low level Tusk contesting these runes, but with Z-Freak rotating down here, they do need to be very cautious. They've gotten pretty low from Mu's Blast.
Yeah, I think Snaking just getting solo experience top is going to be fine. He is not going to do incredibly well against the Nature's Prophet. Like, he will basically free farm on that NP, but trying to secure Fear a better lane, I think, is more important here. And that's kind of what they're thinking the same thing.
I'm surprised for how good a position the creep wave has been in for Costa Bile. Fear is actually up there in CS. He's holding his own right now.
Oh, yeah, he's doing great. Oof. Oh, they actually missed the deny between the two of them. Wow. A lot of pressure being applied to these jungle camps here as they're constantly trying to deward and block them, prevent either of the teams from getting a pull off. Oh, tag team here, but yeah, Shadow Realm, there's going to be your shards, but again, Dark Willow, this is the thing. This is what makes her so good in these types of games, and that's going to be First Blood going the way of Mu.
And exactly there, we see it on Showcase. Shadow Realm, you immediately pop the tag team, you have to switch targets. Mu is in a perfect positioning, nothing's able to come out, and while you get the kill on Mu, which is a little bit unfortunate for Fear, you really want to be giving the PA those. They're just going to continue to sort of snowball, and if they can get the XP gain in the spot lane, we will see level 2 tag team.
Ryoya mid.
Oh, mid.
Yeah, beautiful rotation from Delacore, and 40R setting that just up with the tornado.
And that's what you need to be afraid of. If you're this Ryoya, if you're this Ember Spirit, you need to be very cautious whenever Theo, takes a step away from the lanes, and we will see them making rotations. It's fortunate the ward did actually scout out Theo's ward, but not able to get a hand on this 4-minute rune. It's a little bit unfortunate, as Ember, the runes, they matter so much with these Spirit heroes.
And it's a haste rune too. Yeah, he's just going to take it. It's one of those things where Ryoya just did die, so he got a free bottle refill. One of the silver linings there of dying, so he doesn't have to worry too much about not having bottle right now, but it's still not a good feeling. He has his courier sitting here actually with a salve on it. There it goes.
Snay.
Falling incredibly low. The body block's
so
sick from Tavo. Oh my gosh. He's going to have to juke back the other way. He's staying alive just because of the tower armor and regen, and now Tavo forced to TP out. That is close.
These offlaners, man. These offlaners. That's insane. But Tavo did almost 100-0 snaking with those 2 sets of trees, and that's what you need to be scared of as this Beastmaster. But again, you see, if you focus a little bit too much on the Beastmaster instead of the Boars do just start to run at you, and you can never be too afraid of the Boars.
And Delacore once again in trouble. He pops the tag team to try and slow down Fear, basically, and Fear's the one who's getting pulled way out of position. He's going to go down in the end. Ends up being a great trade here for SG Esports.
Okay,
making a double kill thanks to the level 2 Crypt Swarm. Costa Bile chasing down Mu as well. He's pretty fast here on the old man, so he'll be able to walk it out.
It's unfortunate. It was a sick play from Fear, sort of accepting his fate there. He actually turned back to make it so Z-Freak wasn't hit by that Mystic Snake, but instead it dies anyway. There isn't much he can do about it, and when the pressure's lifted off of this bot lane because Theo's died, he just TPs to top, and they have to be so careful on Snay. If he sticks around in this lane too long, it looks like Theo won't be able to catch him.
Top lane snaking in trouble. Nice aggressive TP in here from Tavo. The tag team, the beautiful shards block, and Snay just getting beat down. Delacore on this Tusk has just made so many plays. Now 2 games in a row, finding big kills, and they're going to be able to push the top tower with this since they've got the catapult here. They fortify. Wrath of Nature coming through. Ryoya in the mid lane. Does have this Flame Guard now, putting some damage onto the Invoker, but he's got to run. Mana Burn does catch him.
Mana.
And now with the rest of the heroes rotating in, nowhere to go. Surrounded once again.
and he thought he could get aggressive. He saw that he had already used that tornado, so he wasn't able to immediately purge off that flame guard, but he's actually spec'd into the flame guard, almost as if he doesn't have that slight build coming out, and I'm a little bit worried now, as you are able to make rotations a little bit easier, especially versus this Nature's Prophet, and with the Roar, maybe that's where they're deciding to sync up. But again, Theolacor is just playing so well. He's just everywhere he needs to be every single time, and I'm a little bit worried right now. If SG get too much out of these lanes, it's very scary for PentAce.
Yeah, I mean, they are really far ahead in net worth on all 3 cores already. Costabile, Invoker, and the Nature's Prophet all having a fantastic time. And again, Theolacor top lane, he's just going to beat down Snake King once more, and another kill going to Tavo. Oh, man.
He's trying to bait it. He's so close to his level 6, and I think Theo will get his just desserts with the Boar on him. Probably not able to walk this one off, but you've pulled heroes out of Fear's lane, and Fear, KJ's just going to sit here. He's going to contest him. He's going to keep the pulls.
He's got the Cursed Crown.
Oh.
No way you're TPing out. This is a big kill if they can find it. But instead, there's no follow-up damage. It's only level 1 Shadow Realm. You don't have the Illuminate quite yet. Sends that Wrath of Nature through.
Vision as E-Freak.
He actually find him just barely. You end up getting the kill. The Bramble Maze,
no.
he's sitting just perfectly inside, and they get him anyway. Oh my goodness, Tavo playing out of his goddamn mind.
And the taunts too, that wasn't even body block. That was just a simple ulti, calm as a cucumber, and this is the worst case scenario. Both your supports just died top. I believe Moo does have his TP to displace him back to bot, but Fear's just been watching Costabile farm this entire time, and it just really feels like worst case scenario. And now I believe they were able to get the rune for Ryoya, but 40R is going to start making movements on the map with his level 7, almost level 8, and this is the aggression that SG have available to them. An immediate D-word as well.
Yeah.
Spot lanes, it looks like the point of interest, and they're just going to trade these towers so fast.
Yeah, they immediately send PA to the top lane after seeing Tavo rotate. Invoker is even down here, and he might find Moo. Yeah, it looks like he's going to. There's going to be the cold snap. That Urn combination, and quick tornado EMP from 40R. That's going to be another kill going his way here.
And there's just nothing. He got a little bit greedy. He wanted the courier as well, but again, we're not seeing the counterplay coming from Ryoya with those 2 deaths that Theolacor were able to find. It looks like he's top. Don't think he's going to get punished for it. It just slowed down the Ember Spirit so much.
Yeah, so far 4-9, 2K gold lead here for SG Esports. You do at least trade the tier 1 towers, but again, like you're 1,000 net worth ahead on each of the cores. You know, like that is the thing. Like it is a 3,000 net worth difference just on the 1, 2, and 3 position here, and it adds up very fast. This Medusa off to a fantastic start.
And this is the issue that I was alluding to, where we see Snake King and Fear playing in the exact same spot. They're really stepping on each other's toes, and Snake King, he wants to farm everything. He wants to catch up, but at the same time, you've got this Death Prophet who's close to popping your level 6, and actually you're just making so many aggressive, successful moves around the map, and this timing on Tavo is coming. This Orchid is coming, and once you have that, it's going to get even worse, and they found Fear.
Yeah, no mana left. He's got a couple wand charges, but it's just Theolacor's show, man. He has done so good at finding kills this game.
And they're just so aware, because Costabile immediately TPs out of bottom. You're not catching the snake. You might be able to get plays on the boundary runes. You're doing a little bit of annoying stuff, but this is a huge KJ here.
Nah, they're afraid.
40R.
40R's here. Just tornadoes him up, drops him on down, gets the kill, looking for Moo as well. It's like they're so active and playing so fast on their rotation. Snake King baiting this out. He's like, I dare you. Just barely catches a glimpse of him there hiding behind the tree.
But again, they're so aware, and at the same time, really, he has to walk back mid. If he stayed top for a few seconds longer, he would have been able to get Tavo, but it just feels like SG, they're just playing clockwise. They're just playing so well. All of their rotations, nothing is wasted right now on their side.
Yes, a lot of this game is going to be on Snake King to try and make some space on this Beastmaster, but we might see a similar scenario as last game where he just goes to try and split push, and they either just fight and kill your entire team, or they just gank you and kill you. And I'm not entirely sure how that's going to play out for them, as Costabile, again, he's top net worth on the Medusa here 11 minutes into the game.
It's unfortunate we haven't seen Ryoya able to make those rotations. He's really focused on getting his own game going, and that means that you haven't been able to sit these supports mid. We're finally getting our 6 on Z-Freak, but that's something you would have wished to get earlier. When with this perfect ward place, they see everything. They are really able to tell the interactions, or rather the rotations coming out from PentAce, just with this one ward. SG knows exactly what's going on at all times. If anything, if they're able to get this kill on Tavo, would be huge, but they're just not together. It feels like PentAce, they have to play so split to recover from these lanes, and SG, they're just going to hit these item timings, and you're hitting these item timings with the Medusa, who's just getting a 3 or 4 Ancient stack at the same time.
Yeah, it was a quad, was it quad or triple, and then also a triple stack on the hard cam. Bottom lane, ETDota sets up a kill, potentially onto Snaking. Nice AoE silence, but a huge Illuminate will take him down. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but you're not really happy with that. In comes really nice 2-man shackle. The Necrobooks doing some work. If they get Tavo as well, and it looks like it's gonna happen, this is a good win for them. Double kill now for Snaking. A Terrorize right onto the Invoker, and there's gonna be the Bedlam. They're gonna get all of them. All 4 heroes for the Beastmaster.
It's absolutely perfect, and that's just, they got a little bit ahead of themselves. They didn't have the burst damage. It wasn't as succinct as they want it to be. He did get the punch off onto a target, but I believe they just survived a little bit longer. If anything, it's the blinding light coming out from Mu. It's just perfect. He hit so many spells. He was so obnoxious. He was trying to get pushed out from 40R. 40R was kiting that Kato, if anything, for the majority of the fight, but man, you're fighting into these Necros. You need to be careful. This Beastmaster, it's a really strong hero. That's why we see it picked so much. And you're throwing away a little bit of your lead. You're getting Ryoya back into the game. He was 0-2-0, and now he's 2-2-2. He's feeling pretty good now.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge influx of gold for him specifically. And then on top of it, like this Beastmaster as well, he got a lot out of it despite dying fairly early, and he's almost got the Necro 3. I mean, we talk about the 15-minute Necro 3 is about what you see on this hero on average, but it's just... he might actually get there ahead of it. Yeah, it's on the way 13 minutes into the game.
At the same time, it feels a little bit bad for SG, where you were just a little bit ahead of your timing. You didn't have the Orchid yet on Tavo. That would have been a huge game changer. All of the damage from the Ember Spirit just would have been there. And you see 40R, he's not playing around. He's just getting an immediate BKB. They want to maybe hit this timing, the Manta style on Coast of B lanes, try to get some of these T1 towers, but now, just from those small kills, from that 4-man wipe, it feels like once this Necro freeze online, Snaking's going to be able to envelop the map. He's going to take away a lot of your vision, and actually, they need to get some more smokes. They need to get some more kills going. Otherwise, again, PentAce, they're okay with farming. Battlefield on Fear, once he gets that, he's really going to be in a much better spot.
Yeah, he's still quite far away. You know, he did go for the treads early. He does have the Possessed Mask, which is nice, though, but... Ryoya able to get out here, no silence, or silence was used, but he does have that defensive Yules now, which makes a lot of sense. Absolutely has to have that picked up at this point in the game. You do have to, oh my god, he's gonna go for the TP. The Tornado is there. Mu gonna do what he can to help out, sending that Illuminate through, doing a decent chunk of damage, and Ryoya's ready to go.
Be careful.
He's got his mana topped off, Searing Chains on the mark, looking for Tusk. Huge damage from that Walrus Punch. A big disarm, but will fall to Z-Freak there. That Shadow Realm. Beastmaster in some trouble. Terrorize gonna get caught just barely by the silence there from KJ, and you lose the Beastmaster. Ooh, that is a lot of damage from that Necro minion. They could keep looking for more. Hold back into a Searing Chains. Z-Freak here as well, looking for this Terrorize. Out of mana, but they're looking for the Death Prophet, held in place by the Bramble. Yule's keeping alive, and another Illuminate. I mean, these fights just so patient from PentAce, not wanting to overextend.
It's an absolute perfect play from Z-Freak. He's staying in the backline. He's getting so many spells off. Well, he might get punished here on these runes, but he played that fight absolutely perfectly. Well, they're here, though.
He might actually get ETDota with the Illuminate. Oh my gosh, he does. A little bit of a bait there by Z-Freak.
And while you weren't able to really get anything done with the Medusa, you still hold on to your tier 1 tower mid, and this is the card timing. We might see heroes return here, but it all goes back to that 4-man wipe. Ryoya, even though these silences are so key from KJ, he's the entire reason why Snaking went down there. Otherwise, there would have been that Terrorize, there would have been that counter coming in from Z-Freak, but you were able to buy this Yule Scepter, and this Yule Scepter saved him 2-3 times now, and at first I thought it was going to be so greedy going for that immediate Javelin, but it feels like Ryoya's game has just all in all been saved, and again, Battle Fury on the way, 200 gold from Fear, And then we start seeing this PA being on even footing with Costabile, and that's when SG really need to be really cautious, as they haven't been able to make this timing of the Orchid feel as impactful. It feels like they need to wait for the BKB on Invoker before they make another very aggressive play.
Yeah, absolutely. And check it out, another big triple stacked Ancient Camp and another triple stacked hard camp. It's just Costabile is just accelerating in net worth so fast, has that Manta style completed, approaching 9,000 net worth here, just 16 and a half minutes into the game. I mean, this has
just been KJ's job the entire time.
Yeah.
He's got 2 fluffy hats. He's been there stacking just so consistently. And if anything, we see a lot of SA teams, they like this, not even a pocket draft, but they put all of their eggs into their safe laners, and they've got the perfect supporting cast to do that sort of style, and that's what they're itemizing for. We might see the Scotty queued up in a second here for Costabile, I can only imagine, and that would be the next big hit that PentAce need to deal with. But Fear, Battle Fury, he's farming at his own rate as well.
Yeah, the downside is he doesn't have someone to stack for him, really. He's been having to do the stacking himself. Queuing up that Deso, of course, and he won't farm at the same rate as the Medusa at the current moment, but he's going to do his best to try and catch up. It is one of those things where with just that Deso can offer a lot into these team fights. Imp Claw Bullwhip. Imp Claw, one of the worst items for PA, but he's going to hold on to it just for now because he doesn't have any other options.
At the same time, you are losing out on the Lana farm just because snaking. He's trying to play Beastmaster. He's trying to get his own done, and he will be very obnoxious. But instead of the Timber Cell, like in the previous draft, we will have the Medusa to come play adjacent to it. And it's a very effective hero as well. And you're not really just placing him in a place you wouldn't want to be as the Medusa. He'll probably stack for himself in a second here. Oh, but maybe the Hawk blocks it. We'll see.
He just put a ward right on the high ground as the Necro Book was about to walk up there, so he knows that it's that. He knows the ward is there, and they're instead going to go for a smoke and wrap around on the left side. There is a ward on this high ground, though. They're trying to do what they can to run on in. He's just going to go for the D ward. Yeah, exactly what I expected, and they get the other one as well. Suddenly losing a lot of vision. KJ caught by a Shackles in mid lane and a Bramble to follow. Fear just comes in, cleans him up. 604 damage coup de grace.
With the DD rune popped on Ryoya as well, you really want to dodge these fights, and they're getting some really deep, important vision down. It's actually Fear able to farm the enemy Ancient stack, and that feels quite nice, but can they keep control is the name of the game. Is this tier 1 mid tower. It's so difficult for them to hit. They need to start sieging with the Beastmaster, but again, it's very strong defense from SG whenever they want to get in on this.
I'm surprised he's actually holding on to the Imp Claw over the Possessed Mask, because it's one of those things where the crit doesn't stack with coup de grace. So it's if you happen to get the first hit crit like coup de grace, then the Imp Claw crit's just wasted. But
or even the Quicksilver, you're just constantly casting spells. You get the attack speed and move speed from it. But we'll see. Maybe he's just valuing the damage. It doesn't stack with his normal crit, right? So he can't get that big hit. But
yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, I mean, there really isn't another option, I suppose. It's either that or Possessed Mask, and 24 damage for PA is not bad. I mean, obviously, he would have loved like a Vambracer and Aquila here, but with those tier 2 items, you'll probably just settle for that.
And at the same time, we can already feel the shift of mentalities from both teams. They're playing a lot safer. They're playing a lot more reserved. I feel like the previous SG, we would have seen them running out this mid T1 tower, especially with the Medusa. But again, they're waiting for their timings, and neither team, they don't want to throw. They don't want to give away anything. And this is probably going to be the most even match just out of mentality. Both sides, they don't want to throw. They want to keep this as stable as possible. And they don't want to take any risks. They don't want to win or make it or break it off of one bad smoke.
Yep, absolutely. Ryoya gets that Maelstrom delivered top lane, which will help him with wave clear quite a bit. Ooh, is this exactly what... Couldn't tell if that was a mistake or not. If he wanted to Remnant onto Tavo or not. But Tavo does need to be careful. He has no vision of his high ground here, just as the PA in the lane. And if they decide to go for this dive, it's a pretty non-committal because they can just back up.
And he's so close to his BKB. He's one more component away, and that's really the SG timing. And Invoker already has his BKB, and Scotty flying out on Medusa. This is really the strongest they're going to be for the next few minutes, and PentAce need to be very cautious about how they take this, but it looks like this mid tower is almost going to be forfeit at this rate.
Yeah, there's not a lot of options here. Costabile just too dang strong, has the Alacrity as well. And like you said, the Eye of Scotty giving you a huge power boost on this hero.
At the same time, we haven't seen the Death Prophet really been able to make appearances. We haven't seen that Death Prophet that's usually playing in the side lanes trying to get a lot done just because he's been stacking beautifully for his team. I feel like KJ every minute on the minute has been getting double stacks off in every single part of the jungle, and his team, it's just continuing to farm, and that's what their lineup is fantastic at. Every single hero on SG does so well with farm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen the amount of stacks that I've seen in the jungle in a long time. Like looking in ancients and looking at the hard camps, now just looking at like the medium and double hard camps here, like they're all stacked. Every single one of them was like always stacked, and so it's just, yeah, really heads up play there from KJ.
Again, perfect itemization coming out from Snaking. He has that Blink Dagger. We will see these teams most likely start to focus around Roche, but SG are incredibly prepared right now. They have double BKB, they have the Scotty, they're building towards their next items, and they want to spark a fight. Any death near the pit is going to result in something, and popping on Relay is a little bit unfortunate, but if they find Snay, that's the pick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's either Snay or Moo, right? Moo would be a great pick as well, but being able to jump on top of Snaking, prevent the roar, the auras, and it's exactly what they're looking for at top lane. He ends up... Oh, did he know? I can't tell. He just able to get out.
If anything, he might have just felt something was up, but I think they walked on top of the boars and he felt them getting blocked and then just immediately knew something was scary. The shard's kind of the spell that would have been able to break the silence, but the Olocore, he's not the one that needs to lead to break that, though. That's up to 40R. He needs to get that urn, and then it's a much easier pick, but again, they're just asserting themselves in the triangle. They know how strong this Medusa is right now.
He had a Hawk there scouting that rotation this time, able to see them, so they know they do not want to go in there for any reason. You do have the Deso competed on Fear, but you don't have that BKB yet. And it looks like they're trying to... I mean, I'd imagine SG want to try and take a fight here as soon as possible. Like you said, the BKB is done on both 40R and Tavo. It's like a huge timing for them, plus the Scotty on that Medusa.
And they want to instigate something, especially while Fear doesn't have his BKB, and Tavo needs to be so careful. If he gets blink roared, oh, Tavo.
He's in trouble. Terrorize. That roar just comes out exactly like you were talking, and he is going to be able to try and absorb a lot of this damage. The BKB immediately, plus the silence. He's taking so much damage from the summons, though. Dark Willow able to survive for now. Slide of Fist from Ryoya, able to finish off the kill. All right. And that's the 10-second BKB plus a kill. Nice two-man Searing Chains onto the side there. They're going to cut down some of those trees. The Hawk flying over, giving them all the vision that they need. And they're going to have to start being pretty careful here on SG. You are down a hero. You don't have the roar, but they can start chipping away at this Medusa.
It's half mana. This is not feeling great, and this is the issue. You're not dealing with the split push while this is all going down. Fear isn't even here. This is just Ryoya, the Boars, and Z-Freak causing so much trouble for SG's side.
It's this Hawk, man.
Yeah, it sees all.
They caught him for a moment, but he's able to just continue walking away. I mean, they feel so safe. The Searing Chain spam combined with this Chakra magic is so much. They're just trying to force 40R's BKB, and he's going to have to use it almost. Oh my gosh, the high ground miss. Ends up barely saving. They drop a ward up on the high ground. Silence dodged, actually, by Ryoya. The Bedlam mid lane just trying to clear up these creeps. It's such a tense fight for both of these teams. They cannot really afford to lose another hero here. And on the backside, Tavo just comes in. A Yule's Damon making some space. There's going to be an immediate shackle. The Terrorize is there. Snowball on over. Z-Freak out of mana. Walrus Punch into the Sunstrike. Gets that Shadow Realm off last second, but the Tornado is going to be able to finish him off.
That didn't go the way I planned.
This whole time is
so
Fear...
tense.
And Snaking, free farming the side lanes. This was just 3 heroes making so much space for them.
And even initially, they don't want to get dragged into these positions. They want to continue to fight. They want to do whatever they want. But at this rate, Fear, they've already popped the ultimate on. They recall Snaking. They bring him towards mid. They're trying to catch these heroes in rotation. And if they kill any hero bot, they have the Blink Roar, and they're a little bit separated. They know the mistake. They don't want to group up. But KJ's pinging it out. It's very frustrating. They're not able to get these lanes in. But they're also not able to find a target to initiate these fight, as it's really just up to Theolacore at this point. And without this Blink Dagger, you don't have that Blink initiation. You don't have that immediate stun, and PentAce are so annoying if you're getting kited into them. It's Fear.
It is Fear. He's got that BKB almost. Yeah, just about 100 gold away.
You're just farming so much faster. You immediately pull this PA, you farm the entire top jungle, you pull them out of dodge, they get to farm all of these camps, and you see they're rotating, but they're rotating just one step behind. And it feels like PentAce, they're really putting this game into their own.
Yeah, Snake King's bottom, pushing this tower with a catapult. No Necro Book up, but he's still going to do a ton of damage just from this Inner Beast aura. They may have to flak for this using that fortification. Otherwise, you're going to lose that tower. Necro Book is now available if he wants to use it.
Oh, Fear, he has BKB. He might be scouted in a second here.
He is so scared. He is in such a risky spot. There comes the fortification to clear up the catapult bottom, but Snake King pulls the wave. He might be able to continue the push here on the next one, but tower just a little bit too healthy.
And again, it's so frustrating. This is what SG needs to do. They need to force a fight around the Roche pit. They need to force him in, but PentAce, their vision's so good. Everything's so good on their side.
Has BKB and a Yules, but he just gets stunned up so fast. Does he have a Remnant out? He does, but another tornado to throw him into the air. He gets the Remnant, 45 HP, pops that Essence Ring. He's going to come right back. The question is, can Snake King get over across the map? And can they slow this down? I think with the Illuminate spam and then the Ember Spirit coming back, they got everything that they need. Bramble Maze on the money.
Recalling as well.
Yeah, they are. Snake King is here. He took the tower, and they're going to continue to push. Nature's Prophet TP's in super aggressively. They're able to find this Ember for a moment, but a two-man terrorize. They're going to turn it on. They take down the Core immediately. The BKB from Roya is still available. Tavo trying to escape, but the crits from Fear are too dang much. The BKBs are out. The Stone Gaze doing what they can. They've lost two. They buy back the Tusk. Roya goes in. He's looking for him. He's done so much this, and he hasn't used the BKB. It finally comes out. This might be a dieback on the Tusk. In comes Snake King. In comes Fear. The triple kill for the PA. And Ryoya is still hunting on the high ground. He's able to get out. But Roshan, it's so low. And with PA, it's going to be a pretty easy take here.
With that, they've lost everything. And now they're so much faster. They're so much better at taking Roche. They have the Sword Crest. Roche is sitting at just so low armor. They do so much damage. And again, you got kited to the low ground. You have these super mobile heroes on PentAce, and as soon as you kite in, they're not able to find the backline. They don't have that initiation. That's why Tavo made such a crazy TP to try and find anyone, and it feels like the timing's been missed. It feels like PentAce has usurped SG from any power that they had on the map, and now Costa Bua needs to be so scared whenever he shows. He doesn't have the tools to really fight up against this PentAce lineup.
Z-Freak has an Ags, by the way.
Okay.
So there's that. And he probably picks up the I was like, he probably picked up the Shadow Realm cooldown at 10.
He's getting a Witchblade.
Yeah, this is gonna be spicy. You have another core essentially now.
Eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
The scan bottom lane. They caught Tavo. They pull in Snake, and you can't TP. They don't even need to roar him. The damage from Fear.
And at the same time, they try to make a play mid, but this harkens back to you don't have lockdown. It was really just that Orchid timing, and it feels like you've missed it. Now, what's your aggression? What plays do you have to make? Because at this point, KJ keeps on having to pop his ultimate, and we're past the point where this Death Prophet popping your ulti means free buildings. It just feels like the defense from PentAce has been a little bit too good. They've held on to pretty much everything and lost nothing. None of the look, all of the tier 2s. They're still standing for PentAce. They've all of this control, and really no plays on the other side of the map have come from SG. This Nature's Prophet is feeling so weak now.
It was really that mid tier 1 tower defense, right, where they held 5 heroes there for several minutes. They end up getting kills, never able to pressure out that Ember Spirit just thanks to the amount of chip damage and vision that was being provided from the Beastmaster. Meanwhile, BM and Fear are just completely free to farm and push both the side lanes, and that time frame they were able to bring back so much net worth in their favor. And they take a great fight. They get Roshan. Fear now level 20, has that 3 additional armor corruption. They're looking for the mid lane. Roots on a 40R. You just immediately BKB's the first hit back and a crit. Oh my goodness, the PA.
And that was your 10-second. That was your one of your biggest resources. 40R hasn't had an opportunity to use this for the 10 minutes since he's had it.
The Hawk just perfectly placed here, scouting KJ's rotation, and there is no chance you're getting away here. Another pick off going for PentAce. They're starting to look really good.
It just feels like now it's what plays can you make if you're SG? You do have this Medusa, you do have this good high ground, but all of your cores, they itemize for these early timings. I mean, we saw first item BKB on the Invoker after his Urn, and they just weren't able to leverage everything. The split was a little bit too good from this Beastmaster Coddle, and that's why we see it picked so much. You're just able to bring your heroes so easily around the map, and now we have the PA versus Medusa, where PA is just starting to become such a monster.
Yeah, absolutely. If the Medusa is ever not full mana, a single Shadow Strike into a crit will make sure that she has none, right? And at that point, you're really struggling. Mid lane, tier 2, the last tier 2 will fall with ease thanks to the Beastmaster PA combo. I mean, that Solar Crest doing some heavy lifting, and Snake King finds Tavo once again trying to split push in these trees. I mean, you just gonna get pulled right back to the mid lane.
And this is just the pressure. You never need to give up anything. Any split push threat just isn't there for SG. Your Nature's Prophet, he's having such a rough game now. He was off to such a good start, and at this point, I'm not sure exactly what you do.
Supposed to be late mid.
Old Medusa.
They're doing a lot of damage. They're trying to force the BKB, but a nice Force Staff actually dodges that Terrorize.
Well, that is the issue with PentAce's lineup, is you're just able to force out anything. If SG ever react poorly, they pop the BKB too early, they pop the Stone Gaze, then PentAce, they continue to take the map. And if anything, if this Aegis isn't used in the next minute, they're just going to gain complete map control. And again, we've seen this all too many times with the Medusa. You're stuck on your high ground. Medusa's the only one farming, and while she has a crazy amount of farm right now, nobody else on the team is accelerating. You're really just stuck in this Medusa camp, and we haven't seen a lot of teams really been able to claw themselves out after that Divine Rapier, and we don't see Costa Bile having that open to him yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're in a situation right now. Fear picks up a Mindbreaker. Coddle has a... Oh, he's going to go Essence Ring over the... Okay, Elven Tunic for the Dark Willow. Very nice. I was going to say, in general, I think he just wanted it for the attack speed. But since you have like this core Dark Willow now, the Elven Tunic is pretty sick. It's a lot more damage. That 26 attack speed is going to go a long way on this hero.
And now it's just really, I mean, he hasn't died since the laning phase. He hasn't really been under threat either. It's just this Eul's Aegis will get reclaimed, but again, they're just looking for kills.
That's an axe.
Oh, KJ.
He goes completely across the map. He's just going to find KJ like you said, and Fear gets another kill. I just see a Remnant go zooming across my screen. I was like, that is a lot more catch now.
And I believe the only other Ember Spirit we've seen in playoffs was Alone, and even in that game, you're just a monster. You could just be absolutely everywhere, and it's compounding on this lineup where your Keeper of the Light, keeping this Gem of True Sight, you're just so far back. Everybody is just so farmed on PentAce. They just have the entire map to themselves, and unless Costa Bile is able to get some Stone Gazes, some stones going around, I just don't think they have the damage right now. If they're not able to hold down any of these PentAce heroes, they're just continuing to walk all over you. And I mean, Snake King's got Boots of Travel. Again, these heroes are just so mobile around the map, and SG, they're just sort of stuck in their base.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of this game has just been really enabled by Moo on this Keeper of the Light, right? Like he did such a good job at like slowing down some of the pushes, the early aggression here from SG, and just enabling this Ember Spirit to be such a nuisance in some of these earlier fights. And you now have this gem on the Keeper of the Light. He's itemizing for a Scythe of Ice. I was wondering if he was going to go for the Aghanim Scepter for that Will-O-Wisp, because it is such a huge AoE control. Combine that with the Ember Spirit, I mean, no one gets out of that thing.
And if anything, they got over the hump. That was the big issue, was just Fear having a really slow start. He got a 15 or 16 minute Battle Fury, but if you lose all of your map control on SG, it doesn't really matter. And every single aspect of their draft, they've tried to leverage. Their push just hasn't been there. And we talked about it a little bit. PentAce don't have the greatest push, but if you have a billion farm on this Sphere, on this PA, then everybody's going to die before they get to the buildings anyway.
I'm trying to remember. I think his Battle Fury was like 17 minutes. I don't think Fear had like a decently timed Battle Fury at all. It was really very late. But... And look at him now. From rags to riches, the real bootstrap story, Fear. They smoke up here on the side of PentAce. They're ready to check out the high ground. I mean, they know that this ward is up here. They immediately take it down. Terrorize. They don't use it quite yet, but the silence onto the Medusa. She goes for the BKB. She gets it, but they're ding. A lot of damage on top to her. Able to get that Stone Gaze off. They're going to try and back off, but look at Z-Freak. Able to just take down the Death Prophet all on his own almost. Goes down in the process, a 1-for-1 trade, but Costa Bile, he's popped everything. The BKB, his Stone Gaze, they're going to do what they can to just chip him down. Nature's Prophet's coming in. Fear pops his BKB. The Chain Stuns are there. You're out of mana. He's got the Abyssal Blade. Hasn't even used it yet. Debating where his next target, and it's just going to be Tavo. Oh man, the damage, it's so insane coming out from this Fear PA, and it's just gonna be a 5-for-1. There's just no stopping him.
And again, it goes back to this PA versus Medusa lineup where you jump her, she has to pop BKB, she has to pop everything. She can't risk losing her mana, she can't drop too low, and you just blink out on Fear. Even though you lose Z-Freak, it's a little bit unfortunate. You get everything else in return, and I'm not sure how they're actually going to win a fight anymore. They've really just run out of options, and if they don't get 2 racks here, then they're going to continue to get more racks, and if they get pulled all the way to the Roche pit, if that does, and it looks like that will be the eventuality, I'm not sure how Eshi really ever engage again in this game.
Yeah, it feels so difficult as now Fear is going for the Eye of Scotty, so escaping the PA's grasp, pretty much impossible. Yeah, you have 3 heroes on the verge of hitting their 25s here. Ryoya just a couple XP away. We get in a disconnect here from Snake King, unfortunately. They do smoke up on SG. I believe that was scouted by the Hawk here deep in the base. So this a pretty fortunate disconnect here for PentAce.
You actually see with their vision. They actually see the smoke. At least I think they see the smoke effect. It was just barely on the edge, and they're not even worried, I don't think, as BKB's coming up in 1 second on Fear. And even at that point, you need to get the picture perfect initiation. You need to at least get a Walrus Punch, a Snowball, a Hex onto this PA, and that's assuming that, you know, Snake King and Moo, they're just going to look away from their computers for a few seconds. As even then, Fear, he's so tanky. He's so hard to kill. It just feels like SG, they dropped the ball a little bit on this one where they didn't hit those early game timings hard enough. I mean, I'm looking at this Invoker, and it's a very sad inventory over there.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be such a huge power spike for the side of PentAce too once they hit these 25s, right? Like, you get the triple stifling dagger, you probably go the inner beast attack speed on Snake King, and then Ryoya, I'm assuming he's going to go the double sleight of fist charges this game since he did go sleight of fist damage, but he does have Ags, so it's kind of hard to say which one he'll end up going for. I mean, in general, all of these talents are going to be, a massive power boost for these heroes.
When after the racks, the game won't be over. They will probably reset, get Aegis, but at the same time, you're going so deep into PentAce territory. They've already got the vision set up. They're going to have even more Hawks, and SG, I don't think they can be bothered. They just need to stay in their high ground and hope for the best. And we see so many Medusa drafts boil down to this mentality, but I see very few teams win like this. It just feels like you're too passive and you're kind of stuck in your ways at this point. You don't have this monster Medusa to fight up against, and I feel like PentAce are just going to take it in the next few minutes here.
Yeah, it does seem that way. We thought Z-Freak was going for a Witchblade. He ends up going back for a Shadow Blade. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah, it might have been the Shadow Blade right away. Very similar components on both. Yeah, it is interesting.
But yeah, either way, the Dark Willow kind of this like backup core, but it doesn't even seem to matter. The PA has free reign. I mean, in the last fight, Abyssal wasn't even used. If she wanted to lock down Tavo or Invoker, if she was worried about them getting away, obviously she has that additional stun and that gap close, but didn't even need it. Fear gets hexed and Ryoya comes in, cleans up all these heroes on the back end. There's just so much catch on the side of PentAce, and it is so hard to initiate into them. Like you've been saying, like how do you get the initiation onto this PA? It has to be absolutely perfect, and you need the Stone Gaze from Medusa, honestly, to probably follow it up, because they don't have the damage without the Medusa to kill this PA.
Without that Swift Blink, and that really would have been the best item if he's able to farm it up. He is able to get in the middle of those 5 heroes. He is able to force them to run, but at the same time, you're just running for a Medusa. That's why this Keeper of the Light is so good for it. You blinding light him, you push him back, you solar bind him. He has to pop his BKB early, and then we see it. PentAce immediately reinitiate, and you don't have the containment. You don't have these abilities. It's just not in your kit at this point, and it really felt like if they were going to win this game, they needed to push the envelope earlier. They really had a much more early game, mid game oriented draft, and it's hard to say, but I still have it burned in my mind that 4-man wipe in the jungle here that really saved a lot of the heroes' games on PentAce, where it felt like things were going really down south for them, but.
It really was. It was mainly Ryoya's game, right? Like Ryoya came out of that fight with almost 1,000 more gold and a lot of experience when he was struggling so heavily. He died like 3 times in the lane phase to this Invoker and Tusk once. And then suddenly comes back and he's like, oh, I was there for 4 kills, gets tons of experience, tons of gold, completely recovered. And yeah, like you said, it kind of starts there. That was like the first moment where PentAce, you know, felt like they were kind of hanging on by the edge of the cliff, and SG decided to just pull them back in.
Yeah, and it sucks. The game's paused and we're still waiting for the smoke, but I really don't think the smoke is really gonna get anything. If anything, they need to be so careful. If they get immediately turned on, they don't have BKB on Tavo or 40R for the next seconds. And same boat as Fear, but he will have his up a little bit sooner. And he's switching gears. He's just getting the Satanic. And then I really don't know how you kill him. Again, it needs to be picture perfect. You need to kill him somehow by himself. This is probably just going to peel back, though, after this Rax. Going to get the Roche, going to be completely safe. And I really don't know how SG are going to eke this one out.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't either. I'm trying to think if there's any other items that like you could go behind besides the Satanic, but it is really just the perfect item for the PA here, right? They have Vlad's aura for a little bit of lifesteal, but if you get that extra HP, it's just so good. I think he had Ayaskati queued up before this, actually switching, which is another thing. Like, you just kind of want the raw HP, but the Satanic active pretty much guarantees that you're not going to go down here.
I also think not scouting out like a Paladin sword or anything on the Medusa, you don't have that sort of healing that's coming from nowhere. And we're not even seeing Medusa probably able to get that 25. We just don't see this Medusa really. It feels like every single Medusa timing that could have happened, they tried, they weren't able to make anything of it because PentAce split you. They ripped you apart in every single other lane, and they caught you in the rotation, and they just got their lead, if anything, off of that. And it harkens back. Beastmaster Coddle, it's an opening that we see so heavily contested for a very good reason. Especially, we didn't see the answers. We didn't see the Enchantress get pulled out in the early phase. It really feels like this has been the most free Enchantress Coddle, or rather the Coddle Beastmaster game I think I've seen so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, you know. He's in Steam, they say now, so good news. Brax should be coming back here any moment. It's fine, we don't like.
Jeez, KJ.
I'm sure he's messing around. That's pretty funny. We are not like
Maybe
you. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Oh, just no.
Perfect from Z Freak too, but I guess let's see how this fight
Just
breaks
what
out.
I was waiting for. I won't lie. That was unexpected.
You know, very appropriate voice lines here from the Dark Willow. But he's back in the game, probably just ready to go here in just a moment. The G's are out. And again, we did see the smoke, so we'll see how this upcoming fight happens. They just back up off the racks. That's it. That's all that happens.
I thought it would have been incredibly funny if they did just call GG after the game unpaused, but
that would have been so BM. Oh my gosh. Just wait.
I felt like that's where we
pause.
were going. Well, because I saw them all freeze in the smoke. They just stood in the circle outside, and I was like, wait a second. Something feels different right now, but with Roshi spawning, they'll probably just refocus.
Beastmaster is so fast with that Quicksilver amulet. He now has a flicker, but basically he's just running around at 540 MS right now.
Why is is it the archer? He's so fast, actually.
Yeah, he is so fast. Mid lane Hex onto that Medusa. They're gonna be able to pull in the Snake King as well. They get that immediate roar, losing so much health. They take down the first kill there, but the Force Staff saving PA. Her BKB comes out, waiting out that Stone Gaze as long as possible. Coast Billy, he blinks in with the Swift Blink, but you're not in a great position here. Backside Aurelia just melts that Death Prophet move. He's going to fall Fear, ready to reinitiate. They're going to be able to stun up Tavo, and there's going to be the Blink Strike 4, just absolutely melted. And now the Cursed Crown on the mark. And your mana evaporating here on the Medusa so fast. They buy back on Tavo, trying to keep him in place, but there's the Abyssal Blade. Double kill now for Fear, and a double kill for Ryoya. And Tavo, the last standing member, as he will die back into this fight.
Yeah,
the GGs are out. And PentAce keep their tournament run alive here in the lower bracket.
And again, it's just so free. We saw there just a beautiful showcase of the Dark Bull versus the Tusk. He blinked in, he tried to save the initial go onto Medusa. He blinked immediately into a Bramble. They immediately turn onto the Tusk, and your Tusk is gone. it's one of the saddest matchups, and it's just an inevitability where Theokor, he just wasn't able to play that very active position Tusk that we saw in the previous game. He wasn't able to find the punishments, and he was really the end all be all with the way that that draft ended up with the last pick natures. We didn't have Tavo on those heroes where he was able to be the playmaker, and that's what I was worried about coming into these drafts where it feels like every single time Tavo is able to get active, he's able to really lead his team to success, but just a little bit too much. Along with PentAce, they just tore him apart. They pulled him apart in 3 lanes, and they were able to get those quick, succinct pickoffs, and they've really just saved the game, I think, for themselves. We see the win probability. It's crazy. It almost felt like SG were going to be able to roll them over, but it just got delayed further and further, and the timeline just wasn't there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really well played by PentAce, honestly, just waiting for Fear to come online. I mean, that's what it was. That Deso BKB timing, at that point, you could take fights really well. Ryoya actually had a fantastic performance on the Ember Spirit, only having 2 deaths, and all of them really early in the game, right? Like, those all happened basically in the lane stage, and then after that, pretty much never going down again. I think this all comes back to what we were talking about during that pause, right? A couple fights that just brought PentAce back into a game that looked like they were completely out of, and just the patience that they had. I mean, big shout out to Moo. I mean, his coddle this game was absolutely flawless, and Fear for his patience and perfect itemization as well. It was just a really well played game from them. SG Esports, an unfortunate loss, is that will knock them out of the BTS Pro Series 5. A hard fought series nonetheless. What do you think?
What? They've got more games. PentAce, even though we will see them possibly face up versus we've got versus No Ping, possibly. We've got our next matchup, but it's good. NA lives are alive. That's all we want to see. At least that's what I'm excited to see. If we get NA in top 4, it's going to be an interesting upper bracket grand final and lower bracket grand final.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the Cut has their work cut out for them.
Oh, definitely.
Very nice.
Definitely.
No Ping, a very strong team, and we got that series coming up next here. So definitely everyone stay tuned for our second series of the day here on the BTS Pro Series 5. It's going to be No Ping Esports versus the Cut. We'll see you after just a short break.